So Portland is the most gentrified city in the nation, and Hawthorne Boulevard is one of those streets that used to be cool, and it's changed in recent years. The architecture, the mood of the city, the fashions. It's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like in 10 years though, and I assume there's going to be a lot more fear amongst the population at that time. How safe will children be in Portland at that time? With all these manufactured racial tensions and gender tensions. This used to be one of the best parts of Portland. Now, it's one of the most depressing. It truly, truly is. Next to Alberta. So you see a lot of focus on vanity, physical beauty over genuine spirituality, and you'll see that theme repeat as we walk up the street. And like I've said in other videos, when people put it out there that that's what Portland is about now, it only attracts more of that. Oh, I'm sure I can afford these shoes. Dosha. So a lot of things that relate to physical beauty only. That is the predominant focus here. And there's a reason why I call it the Boulevard of the $50 Buddha. You see a lot of images of the Buddha, but everything is actually about materialism. So it's an opposite reality. This is an exception because this is an actual Thai restaurant, which I haven't been to in a while. But it's nice to see some ethnic diversity in the business ownership, which is now incredibly rare to find in Portland. Which is why Willamette Week has found Portland to be one of the best cities to live in. In their top 27 reasons to move to Portland, they listed it's the most whitest city in America, in their top 27 reasons why Portland rocks. And I found that to be a little hurtful myself. Just knowing what we know about, oh hey, you want a $200 hat? That's where you get your $200 hat. And there were times where I enjoyed having a good beer here and there. This was one of the places that I've been to in the past. But if you start talking about truth, if you start talking about reality, they'll get real nasty with you. Now this store has a number of rotating models, and this is all about, you know, using your sexuality, using your beauty to gain as much popularity and worship as you possibly can. So here, and there's another place down there, you see a lot of poses that are promoting the narcissistic mentality. Almost looks as if she's comparing herself to her. Intelligent quotes, other ramblings. So, obviously, we live in a world where men are being demonized, and at the same time, cities like Portland, there's constantly this focus on the female torso, on sexuality. So it's a backwards realm or dimension that we're in. Always hands behind the back, just like at the mall. Hands behind the back. Why this is important is because this isn't the mall. This is Portland. This is a place that people think is hip, conscious, and progressive. And what we're doing is we're walking along one of the most popular. Now this place is cool. Authentic jewelry, gifts and arts from Tibet, Nepal, and India. However, a lot of the purchases made here are made by women that are trying to appear more beautiful and attractive on a sexual level. genuine spirituality has nothing to do with materialism. And genuine spiritual people don't pick their mates simply based on how much money they make. So, you know, this is the city of the fallen goddess, in my opinion. That's always been the real name of Portland. Communion. Communion. This place has been here for years. It's called the Cup and Saucer Cafe. And there are many Goodwills around the nation, but there aren't very many higher-end Goodwills where things are priced far higher than they are at other Goodwills. This is one of them. Probably one of the most gentrified Goodwills in all of North America. The architecture is somewhat appeasing, but the obsession with, you know, this unique, oh, I'm super hip, cool, look at me obsession is just depressing to see. It's so depressing to see this obsession with only physicality, no spirit. It's almost as if those that actually have spirit left are pushed out of the city forever. They will either accept being homeless with a smile, and notice how everybody hears what I'm saying, and they all know what I'm getting at, and no one stops to go, what the fuck? Because all I am is just another crazy man in Portland with an actual camera. And people are used to seeing people upset, but people develop those snotty attitudes. And it's a psychological defense mechanism of living in a prison planet, in a prison environment. That snotty attitude, it's a defense mechanism. You see all these words, weed, vegan, come in and buy, you know, gay, proud, you know, zombie, you know, monetizing all these memes. And the rent here in these places, I mean, this is weird. More hands behind the back, and she's got no face. She's got no head. In fact, I don't even know that she even has a hand. This is another landmark. It's called Bread and Ink Cafe. It's always been out of my budget, so I've never actually eaten there. That's a place where you can get a $30 haircut. This place is called 8 Women. I have not eaten at this Thai restaurant. One of the plus to Portland culture is the abundance of restaurants, but unless you have money, disposable income, you know, it's not very realistic for you to be going out eating every day. But when I had a job, when I was working for most of my life, and I really get offended when people come to my channel that don't know my past, that goes, you know, have you ever tried getting a job? They don't know what life is like in Portland, and they are in Portland. So all these armchair intellectuals that are watching my channel that aren't in YouTube, if you don't know what life's in Portland, don't act like you do. Because you can offend me real quick when you start thinking that I'm just some other bum in America trying to live off people. People don't know what it's like. They should keep their mouths shut, and they should also come to terms with the fact that there aren't any other people in Portland other than me that are doing a TV show or a YouTube channel. There's a few YouTube channel people, but as far as doing a show, doing interviews, and doing something for a prolonged number of years, it just doesn't happen because people beat you up emotionally because of your status. We're living in a world where there's a greater preference for the female worker. Here they call this place asylum, and what an asylum it is. And this used to be called Asylum Avenue, and that's actually ironic because they're planning another mental hospital in Portland. See, that's the thing. People think that only homeless people are mentally ill, or people become homeless after becoming mentally ill. After all, why would someone want to be homeless? That's how insane some of these materialists are that are still in the half bracket. It is not until they're in the have-not bracket that they understand that actually being homeless can trigger mental health episodes. It's not the other way around. And there's reasons why someone could be passed up for a job in this day of judgment where so much is based on the flesh and this perception of beauty. So this is a very important city to study men becoming feminized, to study the manufactured gender wars, all the hatred. And in this city that's supposedly progressive, there's so much racial, sexual, and other forms of tension. It's not a city with its chakras in a high place, and that's why so many people are affected. It's not the lack of sunlight at all. It's the history of the land. It's the history of slavery. It's women being sexualized. It's the sex industry. It's the real nature of Portland. That's why people are upset. It's not the lack of sun. That's a cop-out, though, that you hear from people that aren't in tune enough to actually understand the pain of these streets that still lingers in the air from the old ancient days of Portland. So we're crossing
Not where we're going. Third way, baby.
the street again. Take a look at Naked City. And I'm only covering one part of Hawthorne. So I'm covering the area between 34th and 35th and 38 over there where the grocery store is, where I'm going to get some breakfast. But Naked City, and of course these aren't porn stores. Don't confuse these with porn stores. Don't confuse these with sex clubs. Don't confuse these with those things. These are just stores that are doing well enough because the local economy, the local demographic, the local population is spending enough of its hard-earned money to look a certain way. The thing is the attitude that you're getting from these mannequins is what you're actually getting from some of the women that actually live here. This constant theme with pain, demons, vampires, Satanists, hating men, and distrust of people that aren't completely white. It's the most whitest city in America, but if you're not completely white or Caucasian, you're not going to fit in here. You're going to be pushed out. And it's called tribalism. An old habit brought from other continents to this land and time and place, the tribalism. You don't look like you're one of us. As she says with her finger pointing. As another obedient slave just sits there. What a great role model. I didn't mention the Baghdad Theater. But that's a place where there are periodic events. Amy Goodman comes. You won't really see people that deal with conspiracy research or 9/11 stuff or big picture stuff draw a big crowd in Portland. But if it's a gatekeeping so-called left progressive that's in the box of just Obama will save us, but the Republicans are evil, and I'm not saying Republicans are good. It's two wings of the same vulture. So Portland is in the city of the co-opted activists. You know, at one point you used to see a lot of protests in Portland where a lot of people pointed their finger when Obama was elected and said, don't you criticize the drone programs. Don't you criticize the banker bailouts. Don't you talk about Portland's dark side. Don't you talk about women's safety like you care about women. And I've had women say that to me. They don't appreciate a lot of them. Although I want to thank those that are being somewhat supportive of what I'm doing. And all of those women are outside of the Oregon area, those that are. There are no women that support anything that I'm doing that are within the state. So I thank you for those that are across the ocean, down south, and on the other side of the country. Bringing our little tour here to a conclusion, there are other things when you get past 39th and you get up to the 40s. This is Bank of America. So here have all these people that, you know, think they've got a super progressive world going on where everything's perfect. And you've got G4S security stand outside Bank of America. G4S security runs torture camps in Israel. G4S security in many countries has been exposed as a security group that governments like to tap to have them torture people. So it's actually sad to see different people rotate the spot at Bank of America, but you know, they will fire their security officer if they don't keep looking left or right. So they're expendable like all of us are. They're homeless and broke. Homeless and broke, they're expendable. So we're in the world of brainwashing where there's not enough jobs except to defend the banks. And so, bringing our attention back to this Hawthorne here, it's a fake progressive town. It's not really independent. It's not really cutting edge. It's counterfeit. People think it's cutting edge. People think it's a really hip city. But in reality, all the same oppressions, all the same social ills, all the same corruptions, child sex trafficking, alcoholism, AA meetings, homelessness, gentrification, you will find it in Portland, Oregon. So, I'm Alex Ansary signing off. I just saw somebody glaring at me for talking, and that's a big part of my life here, folks. When you start going outside the box and doing your own stuff with a camera and you're not the mainstream media, people think you are the devil. But I'm not the devil. I'm just a guy with a camera and a voice. A voice that will not be stopped. A voice that will not be silenced. Until next time.